All right, this is episode 10 of How Would Jesus Sell? If you haven't watched previous episodes, I would recommend going back. I give a tip per episode that will help you influence other people, communicate more effectively, and sell what you have to offer in an ethical, moral way without using scripts, without sounding, salesy, and to be able to do it the way the best communicator of all time did it. That's Jesus himself. So I'm sitting down here about ready to hit this golf ball. So I'm in my basement, in my golf simulator room. I love golf. And the reason why I love the game of golf, because it's such a metaphor for life and for business. Every time I show up at the golf course, I think it's a possibility I shoot the round of my life. But I also know, just like I'm going to hit this golf ball here in a minute, it's probably not going to do exactly what I want it to do. So I've got to have a short-term memory. I've got to be able to put the bad shots behind me, look forward to the future. Every hole is a new opportunity. Every round of 9 holes is a new opportunity. So there's just so many metaphors to life and to business and to success that golf brings to me. So that's the excuse I tell my wife, or the reasons I tell my wife why I love golf so much. Why is it important for this particular concept that I'm going to bring up here in episode 10? And that is this. Jesus never told a story, and never made a message without using a parable. Any message that Jesus wanted to get across, in fact, Mark chapter 4, verse 34 says Jesus always used a parable. Always. When he was trying to make a major point, he always used a parable. If Jesus used parables, why wouldn't you? And chances are you're not using as many parables or short stories that you could be or should be to get hard concepts made simple. So I'm starting here because to me, golf is a metaphor. I use the game of golf, the story of golf, to make a point that it applies to other areas of life, and for all the reasons. I've done seminars on this before, why golf applies to life and business and success. And so I just want to remind you, if you don't have what we call a story library, your parable library, your story inventory, where you have stories that you say over and over and over again to make complex things seem simple, to attach two seemingly unrelated things and make them simple. You need to start doing that. If Jesus did it, right? This is the message of episode 10 is, if Jesus used parables, why wouldn't you? If he used stories to make his point, why wouldn't you? I always use the message, or I always teach this concept. Never make a point without telling a story, and never tell a story without making a point. Jesus did that over and over and over. Think about all the stories that you know. Think about when you think about what Jesus taught, chances are a story comes to mind. Too many of us, and I was guilty of this early on in my career, which was I just tried to kill people with data, facts, logic, research, science. That's not what moves the brain. A story moves the brain. In fact, one story added to an offer increases the value of that offer by 6,700% and gets somebody to remember it 19 times more than if it wasn't a story. And I could explain the neuroscience behind it. The brain is always checked out. It's always daydreaming. A story brings them right into that daydream as if it's part of their daydream, and they actually will engage with it, and obviously they'll remember it and they'll have more value for it. I could go on and on and on, guys, but I just want to remind you. I know this is a little bit speaking fast and stumbling through my words. I just don't want you to miss the main point. Is Jesus used parables. You have to get good at telling stories. I have a story formula. It's called the Impact Story Formula. I created it in my book called The Trust Formula that came out, a few years ago, became a bestseller because I taught the best storytelling formula. And I took a guy like Joseph Campbell. He had 17 parts in his story, which every Hollywood movie goes by, the hero's journey. And I broke it down to 4 simple steps in this trust formula, in this impact story formula that you can adopt and start to tell better stories. So you wait for me to hit this ball. Let's see if I can do it. Nice little cut. Not my best. I would have liked that to go another 20 yards. But I'm 134 out. I'll take it. There it is. Use more stories. Jesus was the King of Kings. He was the Savior. He was the best communicator ever. And he used parables every time to make his points land. with anybody who's talking. He turns skeptics to believers, and you can do the same. If you're trying to sell more, you're trying to influence more people, you're trying to make a better impact, you must use more stories. If you want help with that, it's exactly what we do all day, every day with our clients. There should be a link below. You can speak with one of my team members. We can show you exactly. We'll find out where you're at, where you're headed, and if we can help you add to your ability to influence people using the Jesus model of influence, or how would Jesus sell. That's it for episode 10. I'm going to play this course. God bless you. We'll see you soon.